On this issue of Fashion Classics, some of Hollywood's hottest stars illuminate the city of light. It's a Paris premiere. We talked to Uma Thurman at Louis Vuitton.
I thought it was superb. I thought it was really excellent.
Julianne Moore at Christian Dior.
I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, and there were so many things that I could wear. All those leather pieces and the chiffon dresses. It was just gorgeous.
And Diane Kruger at Chanel.
I find it youthful. You know, there's always a piece that nobody else has.
At Alexander McQueen, the influence was old school Hollywood. At John Galliano, it was Academy Award-winning The Aviator that took flight. Plus the star-studded party of the year. For fall 2005, a cool glamour pervaded Karl Lagerfeld's Chanel presentation. Diane Kruger, Brad Pitt's co-star in the film Troy, summed up young Hollywood's view.
I just think he's a wonderful person, you know, and for example, last year in Cannes, when Troy was premiering there, he really designed the dress of my dreams in front of me in a matter of minutes. And I just think he's a genius.
Fashion's reigning genius gave the house a swinging 60s feel with a focus on stick-straight hair, pale lips, and big, big eyes.
A little bit of the Carnaby Street, sort of Edie Sedgwick, Twiggy. I love the eyelashes, I love the makeup, I love the flat iron hair. I thought it was great.
I think it was fun. I think it was a little bit younger than usual, which is good. It's going to appeal to a big generation of women out there. And I think it was a little bit playful in a very chic way, with all those leggings and all the layering of tweed, matching tweed and lurex. It was charged with a lot of energy, which I think is great.
I thought it was amazing. There were so many great ideas there. I love this whole menswear proportion, like old schoolboy proportion. It was so absolutely charming, and there were so many amazing accessories that had such great energy. All those black and white dresses at the end with those bows, so pretty, so prim, so Chanel. It was just incredible.
In recognition of its 50th anniversary, Karl created a reincarnation of Coco Chanel's iconic quilted bag.
50 years ago, Chanel made her first chain handbag with a different quilt. And so I made a special edition, 1955-2005, of the old handbag with chic proportion, and of the rest of the world is covered with over-ornate handbag. Suddenly a very simple, quiet thing with those old chains. Looks very chic, I must say.
I really thought that also at the end, the Grecian dresses and the light chiffon, those were very beautiful, and I think a lot of celebrities are going to end up wearing those.
I really think it's timeless. You know, his clothes, and at least in my case, really make me feel like they reflect my personality. I find it youthful. You know, there's always a piece that nobody else has.
It's the party of the year. It's great.
The cars are lined up, I don't know how far down.
It is the event of the year in New York. I love going into the museum when it's closed.
This is a madhouse. I've never seen a press line on both sides upstairs with people yelling. That's pretty mad.
It's an amazing night. It's a mix of fashion and Hollywood, music, celebrities.
Invariably billed as the party of the year, the Metropolitan Museum's annual gala to benefit their Costume Institute was not your average fundraiser. This season's guest honored Coco Chanel.
She really was the first woman to understand how modern women then and now want to dress.
She got women out of corsets and into cardigans and easy suits.
for me, Chanel's like this legend who made clothes that were so beautiful, the women looked so beautiful in them, and you saw them, people wore them.
You'll find models wearing a Chanel jacket with jeans, or you'll find, my grandmother loved to wear Chanel.
She was really the first designer to put women in what we now consider a contemporary wardrobe.
I think she was an amazing woman. She was intelligent, she had a lot of elegance, personal style.
Virtually everything that is in the exhibit can be worn tonight.
I think of that guy, Karl Lagerfeld, with the ponytail and the glasses. That's good branding.
You have to constantly tweak things to make them valid. Karl's done an incredible job of that.
He's totally immersed in the world of Chanel.
Mr. Lagerfeld just is in a world of his own and a league of his own, and anything he does just is amazing. So what else can you say?
Commonly known as the Kaiser, Karl was on hand to survey the scene earlier in the day.
Rather than a retrospective about Chanel, we were much more interested in what were those iconographic elements that made her a fashion presence. And we thought, well, this is our strategy. What we'll do is we'll take the Karl piece, juxtapose it with the Coco piece, and have a kind of dialogue between the past and the present that would allow everybody to understand what made a Chanel a Chanel.
It's not a Karl Lagerfeld retrospective, it's a presentation, an exhibition of a name. Whatever happened under that name during 100 years. That's an interesting thing.
This looks like it could be the wardrobe of a very well-dressed woman from the best dressed list from 2005.
I think what's interesting is to show that a fashion label can exist for 100 years and stay trendy. The Chanel jacket today, a real one or a fake one, is like a t-shirt or jeans or a pair of sneakers. It's really a basic fashion item. It's a uniform you can play with. It's not a boring uniform. It goes with a lot of things. You have to update things for the times we are living in, so that's not changing. That is a healthy evolution. If not, it's dead.
You get the feeling that if Coco Chanel herself were alive right now, she'd be doing pretty much what Karl's doing.
It was very Howard Hughes, the whole production.
Even down to the vintage Hollywood paraphernalia that adorned his runway, John Galliano took his movie magic seriously.
It was an interesting collection for John. I think he was obviously very influenced by The Aviator, and that was the use of the film set. And I love the opening looks, which were quite The Aviator, or quite Katharine Hepburn, the full trousers and the long jackets, and the newsboy cap with the beret, which are big trends for the season.
The hair and makeup teams drew from different inspirations.
At Galliano this season, it's inspired by Latique photographs from the 20s where the women had waves in their hair. But we're doing it with a little bit of hardness to it.
Well, today we are doing makeup inspired by Renee, the young lady that Latique used to photograph. So very Latique inspired, with slight inspiration as well from Warhol, which we're using in the actual colours, the block colours that we're using, the screen printing backgrounds that are on the eyes. But it's very, 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 I can't even say, we're using quite strong colours, but it's extremely beautiful.
Despite the drama, some felt that Galliano had brought it down a notch in this collection with a nod to other considerations.
And when I go to a Galliano show, I often want the crazy pageantry and the incredible proportions and the kind of parade float approach to fashion. And this wasn't it. So for me, it wasn't my favorite outing with him, but I think it might be an outing that's good for the stores and good for selling in the next few months.
Others appreciated the subtlety.
I love Galliano because I felt that there are times when John can be, for my taste, a little bit too theatrical and a little bit too camp. And he went back to what was a very more traditional Galliano show with all the beautiful bias cut dresses and wonderful jackets. And it also seemed a much more positive message than he's put through in the past. I mean, sometimes we've seen girls stumbling on the catwalk because the shoes are so big or the hair's been up to there. And it was just, obviously influenced by The Aviator, but all in all, I thought much more wearable and accessible collection than some.
So, lots of the bias cut 30s dresses, that whole kind of slouchy movie star off-duty look that he has always done well. But I think this time round there was a little bit more edge. It was a bit more Gwen Stefani. There was a little bit more hip hop. There was a little bit more contemporary kind of takes on Razzle Dazzle.
The very first collection that he did, that was just everything very simple, all black, and I felt it was a much more romantic and feminine collection, and lots of wonderful pieces.
Well, the overall theme was clothes for a diva. They were quite languid. There were a lot of trousers, but very, very wide. A lot of blazers, quite mannish. Striped blazers, beautiful jackets with pockets that turned into bows. Incredible embroidery. Swing-back coats. There wasn't really one theme. It was more a kind of fabulous exotic wardrobe.
Spring 2005 turned out to be Giambattista Valli's final season at Emmanuel Ungaro. While not entirely unexpected, what no one could have anticipated was how quickly the young Italian would turn around and launch his own line under the Gilmar label.
I mean, I think that I finished my circle at Ungaro, so I wanted to have a new experience, and I wanted really to do, after all the experience that I had in my first fashion life, I wanted to express myself, to express my silhouette, my woman. I wanted just to go on inside myself. This collection, for example, I started to work around the silhouette. I think it was very important to find like the attitude and the silhouette of this woman. It's for this that I use a lot of black, because normally when I design and when I sketch black and white. And so I say it's very nice because you can really cut the silhouette with the black.
Valli also cut his silhouette this season to take advantage of burlesque dancer and model Dita Von Teese.
There is a lot of femininity, but it's more sensual. It's a kind of sensuous femininity. It's like much more like inside. It's not so expressed. Of course, it's femininity, but it's sensual. It's innocence. It's a kind of beauty femininity. You saw even on the makeup there was this just clear makeup just to give this kind of innocence, this kind of fresh look that it's like a work in progress woman. So she just born, and now I'm going to work around this. So the silhouette is black, but it's going to be probably colored, and probably she's going to have like different makeup. And in this, I put it like this opposite, these androgynous pieces, like almost uniform pieces that she stole from men's wardrobe, and some very feminine pieces. And there is just one jewel that it's like the right hand diamond's ring, all in diamonds. That it's for me this kind of independency of this woman.
The girls never looked so beautiful. It was very Hitchcock, the hair and makeup. Who would not want to look like that?
Alexander McQueen's Hitchcock theme isolated disparate 60s vixens.
What we're doing with the hair today, every iconic woman from the 60s. So it's the working class girl that had a bag of chips and she just put her hair up in a real scruffy, sexy kind of hard French twist. There's the beautiful Marilyn, which we can see as Hannah-Law. There is the sexy biker, like Marion Faithfull kind of girl. There is the Marnie Hitchcock kind of really perfect done girl.
And we just took fragments of that era and in a very minimalized way added to enhance the character of the girls.
While no one disputed the theatrics of McQueen's show, when it came to the fashion, opinions were divided right down the middle.
For the first time, it felt like fashion was really rocking. I mean, he brings back the essential excitement to a fashion show.
I did think that there was some wonderful pieces there, but to me the 50 thing seemed a little bit out of step with some of the other collections that we've been seeing.
It was wonderful. It was just like the happiest show of the week for sure.
I thought that this show was not one of his best shows. It seemed to me that the showmanship was fine, but somehow the clothes were too much of line-for-line copies of 50s clothes.
The fitted suits, the sexy dresses with the full skirts. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. It was a fantastic show, and while inspired by the Hitchcock woman, it looked totally fresh and new, and it was just beautifully executed.
When it comes to execution, McQueen is a master. The drama that he created in a local high school gymnasium on a cold, snowy night in Paris was unparalleled this season.
For me, it was one of his least stunning collections, in as much as he didn't put enough of himself into the clothes. He is truly one of the most inventive designers around today, and he doesn't really need to do copies of old clothes.
Very kind of stylized, but I think they hit so many trends of the season and made them look sexy and glamorous. I mean, there's a certain sobriety in fashion now, but he made it look hot.
Money in the bank, money in the bank. Got to make a living, and this is going to blow out of the stores. People are just going to be dying to wear these clothes. So it's a huge score for him on every level, I think.
I thought it was superb. That was really excellent.
Uma Thurman's brilliant sparkle at Louis Vuitton was the perfect counter to the somber mood on the runway. Designer Marc Jacobs showed dark looks that took inspiration from an Austrian turn-of-the-century arts and craft movement.
I thought it was beautiful. I loved the color palette and the fabrics. It was like a kind of a move away from from a couple of seasons ago, the lady, but it was very demure, and I loved it's like very, very sensual, very like feminine, and was sort of a Renaissance woman, like the velvet and the jeweling. It was really quite beautiful.
I think it was extremely classic in certain ways. It was about a certain 40s sense of luxury, beautifully made clothes, dressmaker details, fantastic seaming and finishing and piping. It's an extraordinarily luxurious collection, which is, I think, a wonderful thing for Vuitton, because when you think of Vuitton, you think of those big trunks and those fantastic pieces of luggage that have all the little pockets inside and are so well designed. And this collection referenced that sensibility in the clothes. You felt that, they were big investment pieces where the fur was in the right place and the tulle was in the right place, and everything, all the details were so amazing.
Very somber but decorated at the same time.
I can't remember the numbers of the names, but some of the dresses, the coats, they were beautiful.
The grey dress and the black coat with the dark pressed flowers, the wine-coloured flowers that looked like he just picked them out of the forest and stuck them on. And you could almost smell it. You could smell the woods.
Or was it the smell of money that pervaded the air? Uma's recent campaign may be great for business, but it's the bags that are true moneymakers in a Vuitton collection.
The bags that came out with the stones on them they were just brilliant. It looked like ultimate luxury without being ostentatious, without being flashy, without being kind of over the top and colorful. It was a whole discreet, luxurious sense of, investment. And that's what I thought was so good about it.
The Christian Dior show is always one of the hottest tickets of the season, and John Galliano's flamboyant designs for the house inevitably attract some of fashion's most eccentric fans, as well as its most chic.
I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, and there were so many things that I could wear. All those leather pieces and the chiffon dresses, it was just gorgeous.
Also gorgeous, the hair and makeup, of course.
We're doing a very downtown glamour. We have the first section, which has a little bit of a reference to Edie Sedgwick from the Couture, but we're making it really simple and really cool, and she's a very individual girl. Then the second section is just a lit. What we've done is we've just done the outline and we're filling it in with gold. And then in the last section, in the glamorous evening section, we're going really light, just beautiful skin, gorgeous blusher, beautiful gold highlights, and just healthy, beautiful girls.
For the first section day, we're doing very straight hair with grown-out fringe over one eye. And it's kind of like the modern version of a Penelope Tree 60s hairdo. Then the second section is blow-dried with a lot of volume and a lot of the hair turned under. And sometimes there's a middle parting with volume in the back. And then the third section is pinned up to make it look like the hair is kind of a bob.
Like other shows this season, Galliano's Dior collection drew mixed opinions.
Well, I love the new direction that John is going for particularly for the ready-to-wear for Dior. I think that he's taken a step back and realized that some of the collections that he was showing, as fun as they were for us to see, were really, I think, putting the customer off. So he's moved towards a much more wearable collection. I mean, there were wonderful coats and little dresses and jackets, all the jackets that have become John's signature at Dior.
Dior, I thought Dior had a lot of strong clothes, a lot of beautiful clothes. Do I think it was John's best? No, I don't. It just seemed he seemed a little bit too restrained to me. The dresses were beautiful. Maybe he had toned down the color so they weren't as as festive and as glamorous. I know the theme was what did icons wear in the off hours, but I thought it wasn't it wasn't the exuberant expression of fashion that we usually have from John. That said, I think there'll be so many clothes to wear and buy in those boutiques next fall. One of the things, I would hate to have him feel pressured to clip his own wings, But as I say, that said, there were plenty of beautiful clothes. The coats are amazing. He's almost obsessed with shearling, I think. Rendered so beautifully, not only in coats and jackets, but in things that are probably, a little tougher sell, the suit, the dress.
And I'm sure the folks at LVMH are extremely happy because it's become, just a more commercial collection.